Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are the final two, and today we have a very special guest in MLS soccer star, Nkosi Burgess. Yes, sir.
Nkosi, baby, from my hometown. Man, someone definitely on the Mount Rushmore of Deer Park, without a doubt.
That's interesting. I didn't know there was a Mount Rushmore at Deer Park, honestly.
Mount Rushmore. Who would you put on Deer Park's Mount Rushmore, to be honest? That's a good question right there. Coach is definitely up there.
Yeah, I haven't thought about this. I don't know who you putting up there. Throw some names out.
I would say you, Nick Fenton.
Okay.
Let me think about it. I'll get back to you. Let's see if I would think of more names as we.
I think you got to put Aaron Edmead up there.
Edmead? I never saw him play, so I wouldn't know.
Oh,
So definitely got to put him up there.
Yeah, I think you got to put him in there.
Definitely
I don't know, but hey, that's nice. I hope they build it one day. That'll be. I'll come back and see it. Gladly.
So what's up, Coach, man? Tell me, where did you even start with soccer, man? Where did this passion? Because I know you're Jamaican, so where did that passion come from? Was it from that?
Nah, so my stepdad, he was born in Argentina. He's half Argentinian, half Spanish. So he kind of just threw me into it at an early age. I was doing a little bit of that. He played like lacrosse, soccer, did a bunch of sports. I think he tried to play football too, and maybe some other stuff, but he was just very active. And that he just kind of threw me into soccer. That was what everybody was doing. I mean, I was living on, you'll know this, Nichols, and then right up the block was Homer. That's where everybody was playing their intramural soccer. And they were like, yeah, well, get them to do something, have them run around. I had a lot of energy. So I was very, very energetic, active. So there was like, yeah, get them running around outside of the house. We didn't have the biggest house. So like, yeah, just get them doing something. So I started playing soccer, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, fast forward, yeah, here we are. But it started at an early age, probably four or five. Stuck with it. I don't really remember when I was like, yeah, I really want to do this later on in life or forever, but it always just didn't seem.
Was there a certain athlete that like stuck out to you? Like say like if you were like a young age, you were just watching him on TV. Was there a certain person that stuck out?
Yeah, it was 100% Ronaldinho. Like he's in soccer, he's just the guy. Yeah, just because like he's incredible at soccer, but like all of that aside, he's just out there having fun, and that's what I've really been trying to do since a young age. Just like, yeah, this is what I'm actually enjoying this. It doesn't really feel like a task. This is just a fun time. I get to move around, get to dance with the ball, dance with people, and have to make some friends. I'm like, this is just a fun time. There's frustrating moments, but it's going to be in every aspect of life. So it's just something I enjoy.
Isn't it crazy with sports? Like as much as you love it, they frustrate the hell out of us. Like,
oh yeah, they'll do that.
Man,
that's how you know you care.
That's a fact, man. You see, I mean, in baseball, out of 10 at bats, if you hit the ball 3 times, you're a Hall of Famer. Think about that. So like, it's most of the time you're failing. How is failure to you? What's the toughest part about soccer? You feel like
toughest part about soccer. It's a good question. I suppose it could probably just be I think the tiniest of details could just cause your team to actually lose a game. In terms of where I'm in the position that I'm in, if I have a mental lapse for a moment, I could either slip or I could just not check my shoulder, and the striker could be coming onto my back and then just steal the ball and score. I could be at the top of the box because I'm the last defender, and then you could lose a game 1-0 like that. So it's like you really 100%, even though you're not always active, you have to be thinking at full capacity all the time, or you'll just get caught lacking.
Is there a lot of mind that goes through when playing soccer? Do you think a lot? Because I know in baseball, when we're sitting around, it's like there's a lot of thought in mind. Like even though it's reaction when you're swinging a bat, but when we're waiting for a pitch to be thrown, our mind is going at 100. What about you when you're waiting for, as a defensive player, waiting for these people to come? What are you doing to stay focused?
Yeah, I think the best thing that I could probably give for advice for anyone else is like definitely be proactive. Proactive thinking is like trying to solve things, put out fires before they even happen. Is one of the best things you could do. Like you see it coming and you're like, all right, well, reading the tendencies. The ball might be on this side, but I know the left winger. Let's say he's left-footed. So I already know he's not going to want to cut in because he's not going to shoot with his left. He's really going to try and stay wide and rather get the ball. So I don't have to worry about him as much. I can focus a little bit more on ball side. But it could be vice versa. You really got to know your opponents, know tendencies. And throughout the game, if you're not learning, it's definitely going to be a hindrance. You have to learn throughout the game because players are going to be doing different things, or you might not know something about this one player. So, and coaches make changes in the middle of the plays, there's no timeouts. It's just constantly being changed. Coaches change formations middle of the game. You got to be ready, whether it's your team or your opponent. So.
I love that you mentioned that, especially with a proactive mindset, because I don't know if you watched Last Dance, exactly what you were doing, showing us how to predict things. That's Dennis Rodman's mentality. Remember, if you saw him predicting the rebound, he was
the rebound,
click there, click there.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, but it goes along in any sport. So with that being said, how did your mindset change when you transitioned from playing in high school to now playing at UCONN? How did that change?
Yeah, when it was after high school, I knew where I was. I didn't think that I was, to be honest, actually really anything special. I thought I was very athletic, and I knew that I was definitely good enough to make it to college and play in college. I didn't know about anything after that, but I was just going to try and ride that wave as long as it lasted, and I was still having fun with it. So I was like, yeah, this is really no issue right now. But leaving high school was definitely a big change. There was a lot that I hadn't even learned about the game of soccer because I was just so athletic that I abused my athleticism in plays where I should have been using my mind.
How crazy is that?
It was just one of those things to where it's I was definitely helping myself in the moment, but it was a long-term hindrance because now I have to just do so much more groundwork that I could have had done prior. But I mean, I'm not opposed to where I'm at now. It's just that's just the way it led to. I was always being able to solve issues just with athleticism instead of being proactive. So I was like, no, you just can't do that anymore. People are too good. They'll
How did you work on
that? Watching soccer, not really watching films, but just watching highlights on YouTube and goals and just trying to figure out how goals break down before the goal happens. So I'm just watching highlights and I'm like, all right, where's the issue going to happen? Who's not checking their shoulder? Who's the least focused? Because that guy will probably get beaten by the attacker who is the most focused. You look at Ronaldo, he's a snake in the box. He'll just hang around, and then last second, he's in the exact spot where the ball is. It's not a coincidence. That's just pure beauty. He's learned it. Just yeah.
Beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
How crazy is that transition of high school to college? It's so in depth, more than we think. We just go to college, like you said, you're almost I'll figure it out when I get there. But then you realize, oh, hold up, it's not about just skill now. It's about IQ and the importance of IQ and I got to be here during this. How mind blowing was that to you? Was that a difficult process to get to that point, or?
It took some time, but it's yeah, how many times are you gonna fail? And then you're just well, you got to start making changes if you want to improve. But I do remember my first training at UConn. Ooh, one of the worst days I've had in soccer. It was just things were moving faster than I could think. So everything, I always felt I was a step behind, in just that first training. And ever since then, I was all right, we got to just think quicker, do better, be more proactive. But I just remember that the speed of play was just so much quicker than it was in high school. I wasn't ready for it. And I wasn't accepting of the fact that I knew I wasn't good enough to play, but I was accepting that I knew I had to get better. And it's yeah, if you want to play, you'll have to get better.
How did you work towards that? Did you stay extra time? Did you just focus more, or what was that? What did you do to get better though? Because you got drafted, bro. That's amazing. So you did get better. You did get better.
That's very true. I'd say I just found the right role model, found the right people to model, not necessarily my game after, but just my life around. And because you are a representation of the 5 closest people around you.
Woo! Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, that's common knowledge. That's common knowledge there. So it's I chose the 2 captains and all the older guys that were on the team when I was my freshman year. I was supposed to be living in freshman dorms, but I was with one of the captains, Kwame Wu, a big friend of mine, even to this day. He was just someone had a good personality. We were just really cool. He was successful on the team, and I was like, yeah, this is someone who I should try and model myself after. He's a good person, does well in school, he's a good role model. The coach likes him and things like this. He's like, yeah, you want to be a leader, you want to be successful, model your life after successful people in the same program.
That's a great message, especially for young athletes too. Because like if you notice, like when we were again, I'm gonna go back to that documentary because it sticks out to any sport. Kobe Bryant, you know, he said, if it weren't for Michael, I wouldn't have those 5 championships. The fact that you would go up to the upperclassmen for advice, asking for questions, tips to, you know, change your craft and become a better player, that's why you're here now. So I think that's just a great message that you're sending.
Nah.
It was just something that I felt was the right thing to do. Not even that it was like a task. I was like, yeah, they had great personalities as well. It's not like
to get better, you had to do it. To get better, you had to do it, right?
Yeah, and like I want to get better. So it's not even like it feels like a task. It's like, no, this is enjoyable because we would still enjoy ourselves. We go out on the weekends, have fun, do different things. We have a good time. It wasn't just soccer every day of the week. It was just more or less like, yeah, you're coming out of high school and these people have 3 years in this program. You definitely have something to learn. So.
How was it coming from a low high school? Because we were like basically a mid to low high school, and we had 1,000 people to graduation and go to UCONN, baby, like a big school like that. What was that feeling when you walked the first day into campus? Like, oh my God, I'm here.
It was I remember when I pulled up. It was my freshman year. I went in the summer, so I was there earlier before anyone was on campus. So like campus is. There's normally about 25,000 on campus, but now there's probably maybe 1,000 to 2,000 about between the athletes. So it's essentially a ghost town. There's not a lot of people there. Just
really
athletes. Yeah, like during the summer, it's empty. And honestly, I can say that's when I enjoyed it the most. But
less distractions.
Yeah, not even. It's just like really. There's something. It's like aesthetically pleasing when there's no one really around. You can walk through it, and it's just like you're really quiet, and it's very peaceful at times. Especially in the summer. In the summer nights, it's good weather. When other people are there, I don't mind it. But when it's campus, like it's packed. There's just so many people. There's just whenever you're going, classes are packed. You got 200-300 people in lectures. Because you're doing all your freshman classes, your gen eds, all the requirements. Like it's big lectures because it's 25,000 people on campus, and that's just how it is. But it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't something that I was doing. I don't know. I didn't know what like a really small school was like. So I was just like, this is college. It was kind of how it was portrayed on TV as well. Like it just seemed kind of the standard.
Yeah. So school, when you realized how different school is compared to high school, when was that? When did you open your mind? Like, oh man, I really gotta put in work now, because high school was kind of a breeze, if anything, compared to college.
Yeah,
where
as it should be, honestly.
Yeah,
it should be. It was my freshman year summer. Honestly, my grades were okay. I think I had gotten a C and a B. My coach was not a fan of that. So he had talked to me. He was displeased, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess the C probably won't cut it. That's fair. I'll do better then. I was like, okay. I didn't know you were gonna be disappointed with it. I just knew F's were failing and anything above is
facts.
But I was like, fair enough. I see where you're coming from. But classes were harder. You can't really just like hang around the first 80% of it and then just kind of show up to the final and expect to do well. Like you can't expect to do well. Like, that's not gonna happen.
I think we all.
You might do okay, but you can't expect any sort of success. But yeah, you actually have to put in the work. But I think if you invest the time in and like show your professors that you care, they'll actually take the time out to like show you that you caring matters. So it's like a two-way street type of thing.
I've realized talking to you for this little bit of time, even though this hasn't lasted long, I could tell already the maturity in you. You've grown. I mean, last time we talked was your senior year of high school. And after that,
Wow.
That's like the last time Nkosi used to walk. Nkosi's like 6'4", right, Nkosi? 6'4"?
Yeah, 6'4", yeah.
6'4", and it's like, it's Nkosi. Like, what's up, Coach? What's up, Ali? Like, we just talk like 2 seconds and like go the other way. So last time I really talked to Nkosi was high school, and the fact that I could hear, just maturity level and how much he's grown.
Nah, it's funny. I really only used to just say nonsense, like pretty much of the time. I'm not gonna lie. now I actually try and give out some decent amount of knowledge so that people maybe learn some stuff. But yeah, I could see how talking to me 5 years ago and then now is
It's a
definitely
big
different. It'd be
difference.
sad if I was the same person.
It
So,
really is. And, a lot of people, some people do stay stagnant though. You can't, like, some people just don't find their niche. And hopefully,
eventually,
yeah, eventually. It's just, I feel like life has taught us that's the important part about sports. Going Division One, it's not about Division One, Division Two, Division Three. It's about playing college sports and the fact that like you need to get your stuff together because if one thing's not right, you don't make it out. And I feel like you could agree to that. It's just, it's just a very
I think whenever you're going into college, you got to find wherever you're going to be happy. Like what is your happy place and where you can find that? Because a lot of people go to schools that they don't end up being happy, but they do it because it's for someone else, or maybe just because it seems like the right thing to do because of stigmas or stereotypes. It's like, yeah, maybe I should, but like, nah, wherever you're going to be happy, wherever you're going to put the smile on your face, you should pull up. And then go put the smile on your face, have fun, enjoy yourself. That'll be the best thing for you.
Did you ever feel like giving up in UConn anytime? Did you ever say like, wow, like I can't do this anymore, like I'm done? Or was it like, failing's not an option here. Like, even though it might suck, I gotta push through.
I definitely never thought about giving up because there was times where I wasn't playing. Like my whole freshman year didn't play. Actually, most of the time I was at UConn. I only played 1 year there. So the other 3, I was essentially sitting on the bench. So most of the time I wasn't playing, but it was like, yeah, this is what I want to be doing. And I know that I'm good enough to be playing. I definitely know that. I can sit here and say that I know that I'm definitely good enough to be playing. From at least my sophomore, junior, and senior. My freshman year, I wouldn't say that I was ready, and that's fine. But like I know that I'm good enough to be playing, and definitely never wanted to quit. It was just something that I wanted to do, and it was like, yeah, if it's not working out here, then I have to go somewhere else where it will work out. But this isn't the end of the road. I'll go somewhere else where I'm wanted or where I can fit in the system or whatever the case may be. But just because, like, yeah, there's one pathway that's come to an end doesn't mean the whole thing has got to stop. Yeah.
So
you got it.
No,
Yeah.
mentally, how was that being being not playing in the beginning until senior year? How difficult was that mentally wise? Because as an athlete, you always want to be out there. You think you could change the world, and especially when you go to college and you realize, like, hold up, wait a minute, there's a whole bunch of guys like me, even better, and you're like, oh man.
It was good. I was like excited to see the players that were just coming in, and I liked UConn because we had so many foreign players. So like there was players from all over the world. So I was like, okay, I can really play with the best of the best. Because when I first committed to UConn, they were 9th in the nation. It was in late 2014 was like when I was going, right when I was about to go in, they were ranked 9th in the country. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna have some high quality players. Like I can model my game after these guys, learn, get better. It's a good program. It's top 9. It's got to be some type of a good program. And it was like I had heard good enough things. It was close, but I also didn't have many other options. Coming out of high school, I had UConn, and then like I was talking to like Oneonta and like Plattsburgh. Yeah, like 2 like small D3 schools. And then so I had went to UConn on a limb, like no scholarship money, no athletic scholarship money at all. Just going there to try and make a dream like just come true. And I was like, this is one of the closest locations. They don't know really anything about me. I went to an ID camp over like a summer. Just I was like, okay, this is a college ID camp. Maybe some teams will see me. UConn will see me. There's a couple other like Siena, like smaller D1 schools. But I went and I was like, I have to do something. And then they saw me there, and then they're like, yeah, you can come. Like we're essentially just offering you a roster spot type of thing. So they offered me the roster spot, but I wasn't guaranteed any money athletically. I had some academic aid. They were fairly gracious with that, but yeah, it was a whole thing that you kind of had to learn. But I was excited to see all the new different changes and things that were going to be coming, because my whole life was just kind of Deer Park, that little small town.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
That 15 or so years. So it was like everything's about to change. I'm meeting people from all over the world.
I was gonna say, what was going through your mind? Not in your mind, but actually your parents. Like, what were they thinking? Because like you kind of took a gamble, being the fact that you didn't get scholarship money, it wasn't guaranteed like you would get the spot or whatever. But nevertheless, you still push yourself. I mean, before that all happened, like, what were your parents telling you through that process?
They never really told me too much in terms of the path that I should take. I guess they kind of just overlooked it and were oversee it every day, see how I was, and like kind of just my moral compass, like what drives me, like where am I spending a lot of most of my time, and they just believed it was soccer. I mean, I was always doing soccer. I was never really out partying. I didn't really care to. I was like, I'm either gonna play soccer or hang in the crib and play FIFA. It's gonna be one of the two. But it's like I'm just gonna play soccer virtually and hope that I'm in the game or create my player in the game. And then outside of that, I'm not really doing much. But they just kind of like my mom, love her to death. She doesn't really even know much about the game, and she'll say that herself. But she knows when goals happen, and she knows good and bad occasionally. Like if I mess up or someone messes up, she's like, "Ooh, that's not too good." But outside of that, they just really support me. And from a distance at times when I get a little angry and I don't want them at games, how I used to be. Now it's just like But yeah, they were just really supportive, and they knew that it was something that actually made me happy because not many other things did. I didn't have a lot of other things at the time that I was doing. You can only really do so much with your time, and the other 6 hours of the day is school. You got to sleep for 6 to 8 hours. It's like, well, I'll just play soccer for X amount of time and enjoy it. So they were just very supportive.
That's one thing I'd say about Deer Park, and the fact is, like, you kind of grow up with the same people and they're cool and it's a great time. But we don't really get taught the recruiting process. We just play the sport like for what we love it, and then we realize like, oh wait, there's college, and what colleges go, what's not. So we should have gotten recruited, and we had no clue. That's the same thing that happened to me, Coach. It's like senior year, I was like, oh, I got to go to camps, and I'm going to camps and hoping someone will see me, and it's like, that's crazy you say that. And what did you do in all that? What mindset did you have coming in? Like, hey, this is my last shot, or I'm gonna give it my all, and if it fails, what was going on through your mind during that time?
Yeah, it was never like, okay, if this fails, I don't know what I'm gonna do. If it was more of like, okay, if this fails, it's like, all right, well, that wasn't meant to work out. Something else will though. I just keep telling myself something.
You're a positive guy. Positive.
Yeah, it's like something will work out. It might not be the best of situations. I'm not even thinking that I'm too positive. I like to think realistically. Like something will work out. There's enough teams in this world. There's enough colleges in America that I will find one that I could play at. And then after that, I'll be the best damn player that I could be for that X amount of time.
Yes, sir.
And then there's another team somewhere in the world that will like me for what I do, no matter how good or bad I do it. They'll be like, he's good enough. And then I'll keep on going there. So it's like,
I love it, Coach.
Awesome.
Love it. That's amazing,
like
Coach.
Something's gonna work out. It's just like, it might not be the best thing. You might not get that $1 million deal on your first contract. Yeah,
100%.
Okay. Like, but can you get something? Like, and then work from there. Just work from there.
How did you stay healthy throughout those 4 years in college? Did you suffer any injuries at all? Because a lot of people get hurt. I mean, look at me. I had a heart attack. It's like something.
Word.
It's just it's just things in life that just pop up. Did you ever get injured or get sidetracked any way, or you were blessed enough not to get hurt at all?
I was like a combo of the both. I guess a little bit blessed enough to stay healthy, but at the same time also trying to keep myself healthy with just taking the advice. At UCONN, we had some really good nutritionists and a very, very good strength and conditioning coach, Chris West. I have to give him a shout out because he made sure that we were we had everything we needed and then some. Like we were getting extra of a lot of things that were great for us, like making sure we're getting all the right proteins, the right vitamins, and all in the right amount of supplements. Not too much, not too little. Like they're making sure, and he's doing all the hefty work. He's just sitting here telling you, just eat this or take this pill or take these vitamins in the morning and then take this or leave. Like it's really clear cut. So it's like if you don't follow it, you almost just don't want to help yourself. So like if the work was already done for me, I have to help myself. I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to be good. You're like, oh, okay, you've done the science. You're saying this is going to help me. I trust you because you want to help us win. So yeah, I have to help us.
Along with that, I mean, how were you able to like work very hard in soccer and also manage time in academics? Because it's a difficulty for some athletes. So what's your thought on that?
Yeah, I think you gotta find a schedule. Just like find a very good schedule that works for your your time, your days.
Yeah.
And make sure it's not just like a leisurely schedule to where you're including naps or things where you can slack off. Like hold yourself accountable in the schedule. And when you have it based out, you're like, okay, you'll do homework on these days. You'll do workouts here. You'll eat these times, and make it very detailed because you'll probably slack off a bit here and there. But the more detailed it is, the less slack that there'll be. If you know, I'm kind of.
So when did you get to that, Coach? Because I know maybe in the beginning you might have not been like that. When did that detail?
Yeah, I mean.
Because I'll be honest, that senior year coach wasn't doing these detailed. Hey, at 2:35, I'll make sure to take my vitamins. You know.
Not a chance, bro. Not a chance.
Where did that click, man? Like, when did it hit you? Like, okay, I gotta start being detailed.
I mean, the unfortunate thing is, it didn't even click until probably after college. Like, I was like, okay, I really gotta get a schedule going, like, to where I got like a fully based schedule of like how my eating habits, the exact proteins I eat, a well balanced meal, so I have all my like vegetables and fish oils, and like I'm out here taking omega-3s and B12, like actually doing research on what I'm putting in my body. When I was freshman year, sophomore year, I was just you walk into the dining hall because that's what you can afford. And when I was we had McMahon, is like you do the McMahon lap, you probably walk around, don't like much, and then you do the lap again and start making sacrifices of just like, okay, I guess I can eat this. So the schedule didn't really kick in until I was probably like 21. So yeah, 21, 22. So the first 2 years wasn't necessarily the most efficient. But like I said, you just keep going. And then you just keep going.
How is the cafeteria for you guys? Is it a good one, respectable one? Because I could be honest, you know, let me not.
Let's hear UConn. Let's hear.
Nah, UConn the cafeteria food was good. The thing is, I believe, I could be wrong, I've been out of the loop for a minute, but I think there was either 8 or 9 dining halls on campus.
Wow.
Yeah. So I assume you were going to say that you had like one and it was not very good at all.
We had I think we have two in total.
Okay.
So,
okay, yeah. We had 8, and different ones specialized for different things. But when I transferred and went to Seattle University, they only had one dining hall. And it was tiny. It was very good. It was 6,000, 7,000 people.
Okay.
Cool.
Talk about that. You did transfer, correct?
I was about to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I did 4 years at UConn, but I redshirted my freshman year, so I didn't play that year. And thank God I did, because hindsight, it would have been, I wouldn't be probably sitting here if I did. My 4th year at UConn would have been my last year, and I wasn't playing that. So getting drafted would have been very tough.
Difficult,
so after my senior year, I then transferred to Seattle, where most of the success was probably sprouted from.
Talk to me when you got to Seattle. The difference, the atmosphere, how much you've matured. Like, my question is, think about your senior year of high school going into UConn, your mentality. Now, basically, being a senior and going to Seattle, what was the two mindsets? What was like the difference of that mindset when you go to Seattle?
Yeah, so graduating high school, going to UConn, I definitely was not very knowledgeable, and I knew I wasn't, and I was just gonna go in and see kind of what happened and see what everything was like, because I didn't know anything of what it really was. People kind of tell you, but you don't know until you're actually in it. And then
Facts.
Probably around junior year at UConn, there was different ups, downs, turns, and everything. But I say maybe junior. Junior was when I first started playing, and I started to play every game, and I was one of my only really good season, honestly. After that, but then my senior year, I wasn't playing, and I was told that I was supposed to. So then that kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. But I was like, yeah, I have to leave. I only have 1 year left, and I know I'm not going to play at this point, so I'd have to go somewhere else. So then leaving after my senior year, that's when I did most of my mental health, just self-help growth, anything that I thought that I should be doing to make myself successful, I just started doing. Like scratched most of the natural kind of niche that I was in and just broke into a whole new like schedule. So this past summer that just happened was when I did most of that. And then I went to Seattle in July.
mental health is such an important thing. What would you say? Like, what did you focus on? Because I know for me, after what happened, the accident I had, it was very hard to get back to who I was. It was mental health is a really, really big thing, and I feel like it's not shown enough light on it. What did you do to gain mental health, get stronger, and really focus on that?
Yeah, I think I just started really focusing on
It's important, right?
getting down to what I thought genuinely made me happy, even outside of soccer. Like what I could do in my daily life that would involve also getting active and doing like what's good for my success, like work out, get this done, and then like what else can I do during the day that's just good for me. And because I moved out of Deer Park, and my parents moved into Bohemia, into an apartment, so I was even out of the loop. Like I was just really on my own. So I was at UCONN, and then I just went to Bohemia. So I'm not even in town with my friends. Don't have a car. I don't have a license. Don't drive. So I'm just out there on my own. Parents work for a little bit out of the day, but I'm there during the day. I don't have a job, so they're working. So I'm just really doing my own thing. Like when it really comes down to it, I'm on my own most of the day. So it's just like, yeah, learning a lot about myself.
I want to add to that, just finding your identity. I think you found I feel like the same with me in the sense of after everything that happened, I found my identity. And the reason I made this podcast was because of that, because I had to basically retire from baseball, and I wanted to be able to share stories that a lot of people want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine you junior year hearing yourself talk like this. What difference wouldn't have that made? Your junior year of high school, listen to yourself, or someone like yourself speak about that. I bet you would have kind of clicked in your head like, oh man, maybe I should prepare a little better. And it's just, I think that's just huge and something I admire, and I commend you for that growth. So it's huge, man. It's huge. It's just people don't realize how important that is, especially coming from a small neighborhood like we do, I guess. So talk to me about getting drafted, baby. That feeling.
Look at you now, man.
Man. Man.
Gotta
that
tell us
feeling.
You gotta tell us the whole story.
All right. Well, so all right. What do you want specifically? So I could.
I mean, what were your thoughts when you got that call that you had a professional team in Dallas FC, interested in you and drafting you? What was your mindset?
All right. So draft day comes around. I'm in Seattle in my apartment. We're in my house with the rest of my teammates that all live with me. And draft starts at 12 Eastern. I'm West Coast, so it's 9 a.m. I'm up probably 8, trying to act normal.
Meanwhile, you're like hopping around like, oh my God, I'm excited, man.
On some cool vibes.
I'm chilling, I'm cool, but I'm also very well aware that a decision will be made today that's going to change my life, and it's not mine. So like I'm gonna go live in a random city somewhere in America, maybe random unless I went to New York and then but I'm gonna go to a random city because I've only been to a few, and that is gonna be where I'm at now. So it's like, let's see what happens. Just not really nervous, but it's like, I don't know, I could end up anywhere. I don't know. I'm like, this is exciting. People are like, yo, you excited? I'm like, yeah. I'm super excited. I can end up anywhere in the country. I'm totally excited.
Like sweating, like you can see like drips, like you're not nervous, but it's just like, oh my God.
Just drenched in sweat, head to toe. I'm like, I'm not nervous at all. What do you guys talking about?
We're dreaming about this. Like, come on.
Yeah. So I'm chilling. I went to the dining hall, got breakfast, came back, just sat around. I remember I had gotten a text from my coach. FC Dallas was trying to get like my 5-10 5 times, like my, I guess, quick sprints, and then something else, like maybe 30-yard dash or 4-yard dash. And then texted my coach back. I was like, yeah, I don't have these times right now. Like, am I supposed to go run this? Like, the draft is actually in about 25 minutes. Like,
crazy.
I don't want to tell him no, but it's like, I'm not even warmed up. Like,
I'm ready to draft it.
But you're like, hold on, wait a minute. If I gotta do, I'll do it.
I was like, if this is the only offer, I was like, all right, I'll check. But
That's huge.
so I had to tell them, I was like, yeah, I don't have the times. Like, I'm sorry. And then, but that was all I had heard from FC Dallas up until like the draft. I hadn't heard anything from them. Most of my looks were probably from Atlanta or Minnesota. That's what my agent had told me, that they were the two interested. Like and Minnesota had the 17th, and I think Atlanta had the 23rd. So, and I had talked to the Minnesota coach, and he told me, this is like 2 days before the draft, and he was like, yeah, he's like, you're gonna get drafted, blah blah blah. So but up until then, I didn't really think I was gonna get drafted until you're on the phone with the head coach of a team that says you're gonna get drafted by either me or someone. So it's like, okay, I can relax a little bit now. That's definitely good. So yeah, draft day's here. I'm sitting around. I'm live streaming it because they didn't have the draft in person this year, so I'm live streaming it.
Oh.
And I have it on my TV, just sitting in my room. We're waiting. The numbers are going. They get to like 10. I'm like, okay, and they got to 12. And then at 12, it's like, all right. They just announced the pick. I was like, okay, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. They got like another minute 40 for like while this team's on the clock. I run to the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom, and they're like, yo, your phone's ringing. And I'm like, okay. So I run back, answer the phone. I'm like, hello? And then all I just hear is, he's like, congratulations. And I was like, I look at the screen, and I'm just like, yo, I'm like, this isn't even funny. I'm like, yo.
Yeah. Like, don't mess with me.
I was like, yo, like, come on. Like, I'm actually watching. You can't even catch me right now. I'm tuned in. And so I'm like, I'm just silent. That was about it. I was just like, that was it. That's all I said. And
did they have cameras around you? Like in the house?
No,
like
no.
for other athletes?
So for the draft, they have Generation Adidas and then like senior contracted players. So the Generation Adidas is any player who's freshman, sophomore, junior who gets drafted. And then you get like a guaranteed contract from Adidas for like 2 to 3 years, I believe. And then a senior contract is like the most exceptional seniors. They probably pick about 1 to 4 every year, and they get like a guaranteed contract. But outside of that, everyone else, you get drafted, it's just like a trial. So then you have to like earn the contract. It's different from like NFL or NBA. I don't know how baseball works.
NBA, I would say it's not what you're explaining. It sounds like a 10-day contract. You know what I mean? Like you got that 10 days, you got to prove that you would get that full contract, basically.
Yeah. So like, but in my terms, if you look at it in perspective, I was a 14th draft pick. In the NBA, that's just like you're chilling. You're on the team. You're contracted. Like you're a big guy. Like you're a big deal to the team. In soccer, it's just in MLS, it's just way different in terms of how the draft works, because it's like, yeah, you still have to come to camp and like prove yourself, and it's just a whole different vibe. But yeah, I'm muted on the phone right now. Just don't know what to say to him. I was like, and he's like, yeah, I'm head coach of FC Dallas. We just drafted you with the 14th pick. I was like, oh, okay, this makes perfect sense. I was like, I'm behind on the stream. I am sorry. I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, I apologize. I was like, thank you. My stream says 12. I was like, yeah. I was like, thank you. I was like, really, thank you. This is nice to hear from you. I was like, yeah, you're my new favorite person. This is nice.
Oh my God.
That's incredible.
And,
did you run? Did you scream? Did you jump?
What was your feelings? Like, come on.
It was like, all right, all of what you've been working for
just paid off.
Wow, it was not a waste. Like,
it's not
even that it paid off. It's like it just wasn't a waste. Like, you still have a little bit to do. Like, you still got to go get the contract, but it's like,
it's not guaranteed. Yeah.
Actually, it's like you can now focus on the next task. But it was like, this is definitely a reassuring feeling to be drafted. It was like, wow, this is nice. Because I was at UCONN 4 years, played 1, and I had to transfer because I wasn't playing. So where it's like, I'm now starting every game at this one team. We went undefeated in conference play, won the league, only tied 1 game instead of we didn't lose, and then we lost in penalties to Stanford. But like I've won more awards than I in this one school than I did in the 3 years I was at UCONN. And it was like 1 defensive player of the year, 1 I was in first team all region for Washington Coast. So I'm like, yeah, this is incredible. I'm like, yeah, this is actually incredible. Like this is just incredible. And then to finally actually get drafted, I'm like, yeah, this is just best it could be. Then
you ended up graduating with a degree, correct? Too. You ended up graduating.
Yeah, I graduated at UConn before I transferred.
So did you end up finishing your master's at Seattle, or is that just?
That's kind of up in the air. It was something I wanted to do psychology,
Mm,
and I wanted to do culinary, and I
mm,
wanted to do then couples and family therapy. I couldn't get into
mm,
any three of those. Any three of those.
really?
So yeah, and then they just put me into nonprofit leadership. I didn't really want to do that, but it was like, yeah, it was the best situation for them to put me in it. It was probably the easiest that I could get in without there being any type of hassle. But so I was essentially kind of doing an education that I wasn't fully invested in, but I still had to take the classes while I was there. It's just,
Mm.
that's what you got to do if you're being in an NCAA athlete. You have to take the courses if you're going to be playing, whether
Of
you're
course,
undergrad or grad. You got to take
of
the
course,
courses.
of course.
So it's something I don't know if I'll necessarily finish it, but it's up in the air. Like I have the first quarter of it done, the first third of it if I did want to go back. But yeah, I had my undergrad from UCONN.
So right now you have basically like a 10-day contract, or did you get the
Oh no, I
official
signed.
contract?
I signed in February. Yeah.
Tough, man.
Yeah,
That's so
I'm
tough.
chilling now. Like, I'm good to go now.
We
Yeah.
didn't, because we didn't know, because with the whole quarantine, situation, we didn't know if you
Yeah.
still had to train or not, like how that was working. And actually, to talk about that now, like what does the team have you do right now? It's like
We've
stay
been
fit.
doing the MLS releases like kind of week per week limits that you can do during training. So, but it's also based on state and your governmental rules. So
Mm.
right now we're allowed to train 4 players to a field, and each player has their own quadrant. So like you're in your quadrant. It's an individual training, but the coach can stand in the middle. He has a mask and gloves on. It's like real deal. Like there's no games played, and like he'll instruct you, but it's individual training. You're just on the field with your teammates, but you don't go in their sections. Like they're keeping it very close knit. But this is more than a lot of teams. Some teams haven't even gotten started yet,
Mm.
and so it's definitely a benefit for us that it's not too serious out here, because then we can kind of get the upper hand on getting back to training, getting back into the groove of things. But it's rough or something.
I was gonna say, I don't think, like, the only other leagues that I've seen was like the German league, Bundesliga. I've only seen that one, and I don't think I've seen Barclays like train them.
No, I think they're going to be on June 17th. They're going to
Okay,
probably get back into games. I think they're finally going.
just with no
But
fans. Yeah.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
going to be probably no fans for the rest of the year. I think for a
Crazy.
lot of places it's going to be like that. But
Your first
that's
year,
what
like
that's
that, man, how crazy! Like
where
your
it's
first year, it's a
interesting.
story to tell. It's a story to tell. Your first year, like, yeah,
Mhm.
I played with no fans my first year.
Yeah, it was like it was just nothing. They just suspended the season for like 3 months. We played 2 games, suspended the season, and now we're trying to get back into it. And it's like, yeah, this is rookie season.
What were your thoughts when that happened? Like you just played a game, you come off, season's canceled basically. Like pack your stuff up and go. What
There was
happened?
rumors of it like kind of
Huh?
happening, and there was definitely talks. Like we were in training, and then we had like a group huddle at the end, and I remember them mentioning, because the virus is actually getting really bad at this point, and they were really starting to think about even just the amount of interactions that we have are probably too much, like locker room and everything. So like the MLS suspended and was like, all right, no lock. So we just came in one day and they're like, yeah, today is gonna be the last training. We knew a little bit of it, but then that day that it happened, it's like, yeah, today is the last day. You can't be coming back in the locker room, like at all. But then they had to like start making the rules more strict and like clear cut, because a lot of people not even trying to bend them. They just didn't know the rules. They were just like, they're like, no, like no contact whatsoever. So it's definitely just been a constant change of trying to grasp different things, but that's what it's gonna be, honestly.
So talk to me about, you signed, you're ready to go, you show up to Dallas, and you're there, first day of practice. What is that feeling like? You're officially a pro. Like, talk to me, bro. Like, oh my God, that's like a dream come true.
Um, or it was so it was like, so I was in training camp for, I think it was maybe like 23 days, and then I signed. So I trained with the team, played a couple games in preseason, and then on February 14th, like I signed. So like I was already around the guys. I'm in the locker room. I have like a temporary locker, temporary clothes, everything. Like this is all just like formalities before you can actually really get into the real thing. But I have my little stuff. But I'm training. I'm keeping a log of all my trainings each day. until I either
Look at Nkosi, man. Got his shit together.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Either until I sign or until I get cut, until something happens. But I'm keeping daily logs just of what happened. We're doing 2 days, so I would just do day one, training one, and just keep all the logs. I can just know what I'm doing, knowing what I'm learning from, writing down my mistakes, what to learn from the next day, blah, blah, blah. And when I remember when the coach had finally told me, it was interesting because I was really pissed off that night. Funny enough, anyway. But it was sort of like halfway through the end of preseason, right before we went to Florida. But we're in San Antonio. We just played a game, and I came in for like the last maybe 10 or so minutes, played a little bit, and then we had like a game afterwards. And I was just disappointed with it. It's not really how I played, just how the game went. It was, you know how it is. It is what it is. And then we get back, we're eating dinner. I'm just chilling, doing my own thing. And he's like, yeah, can I talk to you? I was like, yeah, sure. So when he calls me over, he just starts asking me, he's like, yeah, how you doing? Like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I'm doing well. He's like, okay. He's like, yeah, we've been kind of like the game went well tonight, blah, 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 blah. Have you been just asking me what I thought on like the players that were playing, like in my position? Like, just, was I taking notes? Was I watching closely? Stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, always. Like, I got to do things properly. And then he just started asking me some questions about myself. And I was like, this is interesting. I'm not opposed. I'm definitely up for a conversation. But this is interesting. Everyone's gone by now at this point. It's just like me, him, and like rest of the staff that's kind of just chilling. But I was like, okay, I guess sure. So we're still chatting it up. And then he's like, yeah, I talked to the front office. And then they told me that like they're going to start making some more serious talks with you and your agent, but they wanted to offer you like a contract. And I was like, wow. That's nice.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow.
Crazy.
And that was like the best moment. Better than getting drafted, better than pulling up to training camp, better than any of it was when he sat me down and was like, it was probably even like signing it was even beautiful. But there was something about when he first told me where it was like, yeah.
Just hit you.
You're yeah, it's like this is what you used to be doing. Now you're gonna stop doing that and start doing this because it's a lot better for you. I'm like,
it is a lot better.
I'll gladly start doing this.
You're like, let me think about it, but I'll respond right now. That's a go. That's a go, sir.
Yeah. I was like, yes, please, thank you. But
yeah,
it was like, wow, man.
And
Wow.
think about it. You're on FIFA now. You're gonna be a player on FIFA.
Yeah, I'm actually in the game. That's a pretty funny
Like
thing.
Coach, you in the game?
Coach, like EA, bro. I'm in the game.
Have you used your player? Like,
yeah, he's decent. Like, he's okay.
Yo,
that is
like,
amazing, man.
You're gonna sit here and tell me if you're in a video game, dreaming your whole life that you've been playing this game, you're not gonna log in and see if you're in the game, and then when you're in the game, you're not gonna load up a game and play.
Put yourself against Ronaldo, Messi.
Like, I was like, let me see if I'm actually in the game. Pulled up, I was actually in it. I was like, let me see my game face. That's really what's good.
How was the face scan?
Decent. It was okay.
It was good.
Really? It wasn't good.
Sometimes they botch it. Yeah, they botch it.
The thing is, it wasn't good, but like I've seen worse. I've definitely seen worse.
FIFA used to have
I just looked. They had me looking a little 40-ish. That was the only issue. I was looking a little old, but outside of that, I was like, hey, I'm in the game now. So
they had the yellow hair. They had the blonde hair. No,
it was looking grayish. It was looking like a gray.
Man.
I was hoping they would have had a purple or something. That's what I'm saying. I was looking old. They didn't even have the right hair, but it was okay. You're still in the game.
You're in the game, man.
They're learning. They don't know.
What's your overall? What do they got you?
63.
I mean,
but you're playing with him. He's a starter. He's a starter in the game.
Listen, all you gotta do is put game sliders.
People 63 is okay. Like people like 40s and 45. That's as low as it goes.
It's the pace. Yeah. That's why the pace is like big.
It's just like it's just like but like it's crazy. I'm a 63 and Messi's like a 94, and I don't even know if I should be that close to him. Honestly, it's just I don't know. It's like
okay,
you never know.
That's another question. Who's like the top player that you want to play against MLS that you looked up to maybe throughout your career, throughout time that you're gonna be like, oh my God, I just been playing with.
Can I add? I want to say, along with that question, you get to do tours with your club. I always see like PSG will come play an MLS team or Manchester United.
Yeah.
How would you feel about that? And exactly who would you want to play against?
Look at him smiling. He's hyped.
He's hyped.
Now, I'm gonna answer it in like two, because there's a player that I wanted to play against, but he's no longer in the league. That was Ibrahimovic. He just recently left because he's like strong as can
in the
be.
MLS. He was killing it.
Yeah, he was
God.
he's 6'5", probably about same weight as me. He's very athletic and like acrobatic. So I'm like, I'm really trying to see how good he is, and because he is very good. I want to see how strong he is. I'm like really trying to be up against the best. Outside of him, I don't know. We played LAFC in preseason, and Carlos Vela, who was MVP, was
he's killing it.
He wasn't even going. It was preseason. He was just kind of feeling it out, and he was looking pretty sharp. So I was like, he's another good one. If one team could probably come, we could play like a tour of a team. It'd probably be, I don't know. I want to say Manchester City because they're my favorite team, but at the same time, I don't know if we played Juventus. It's like, yeah, I'll guard Ronaldo. I don't know what would happen. I mean, most of it would happen, but it's like, hey.
But you have the height, so I could see it happening that you could lock him up.
Who knows? Yeah, like who knows? I don't know. It depends. Maybe if he comes when he's like 40, then I got him. Then it's like, then it's
like an old
Michael
Jordan, basically.
Yeah, it's like the Wizards Jordan.
Wizards Jordan, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's dope. That's the dope part about this podcast is years from now, hopefully you go off or you look back at this, you're like, yo, I remember what I was saying during that time, and like that's just awesome, bro. That's dope. Hold on, let me ask you one thing. Was that moment bigger than meeting Kobe Bryant or what?
Ooh.
When my coach told me that I was gonna sign.
Yeah, was that moment bigger than meeting Kobe Bryant? Like, was it up there? Is it up there as like the top things in your life? Like,
I don't know if you want to compare it,
but I'm saying the feelings is up there. Like, because I mean, meeting Kobe was.
Meeting Kobe was just. It was like I don't know. Is this happening? It was like, wait.
I'm really here right now. Like, what?
This is really. And then we were just casually chatting about soccer. I was actually talking to him about soccer. I didn't really care to talk basketball. I was like, I've heard that, and not like I've been doing a lot of research, though. You're pretty important. Like I've heard that you like soccer. Like just through the grapevine, I've heard you're a soccer fan. I was like, who do you think about to win Champions League this year? This was in late, I think probably around early May. Champions League was at the end of May. And we were just chatting up about soccer. But that was the day I met him. I met Magic Johnson the same day. So that was a big day. Yeah, that was a big day.
What was some advice they were giving you, like when they were talking?
Oh my God, that's huge.
You're talking to goats, so we got to hear that. That's goat talk.
We were mostly really only talking about like when Magic was there. Kobe was telling Magic that they just got to chop up the Lakers. He's like, yeah, you're not really gonna get a lot of wins with this team. You gotta chop this up. Pretty much. He was just like they were just talking about like Lakers stuff, and Magic was asking him about how do you like this guy on the team?
In front of you?
Not like necessarily in front of me, but like it was more or less like I happened to be there and like.
They were just talking
straight. Yeah.
Nkosi was like this.
I'm here right now. I'm between two Lakers legends. Like that's crazy.
I was like, okay, but no, Magic was. It was like, yeah, that's a big day. You meet Kobe Magic Johnson the same day, and then
that's like a dream.
You sign a contract. It's like.
Yeah, I don't know if I would compare it. Yeah. It's like crazy story.
Too crazy, yeah.
It's definitely up there. I mean, I remember when I met Jose Reyes and Carlos. I mean, Jose Reyes I've known him. When I met Carlos Beltran too, and they were both having these conversations, and I'm just sitting there, and they're like, "Oh, this is my homie Ali," and I'm like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" I say, "Hey, what's up, Ali?" Like they continue their conversation. I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like it's like I'm just normal here. Like,
that for you is probably surreal because that's baseball.
That's
I met Kobe in basketball. If I met one of my idols, it's like.
I'm a huge basketball fan, so if I was in that, I would be like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm here. Oh my God.
You have no idea. Like, and the thing is, I'm lucky enough to say, like, I am working with like basically one of my idols. You know what I'm saying? Like, I work out with Jose Reyes, and it's surreal. It's like a surreal moment, especially in the beginning when they were first working out with us. I was working out with them. I was just trying to keep up, and I was doing my thing, but it was just like they would have these conversations and these things, and I'm just like chilling in the background, like, oh my god, like
yeah, you're like, okay.
They're like, oh, they were talking about like when they went to trip to Miami, like, oh, when we played Miami, we did this, we went up against this pitcher and stuff like that, like, oh, I hit a triple off that guy, and I'm like, oh wow,
like it's just a regular conversation.
It's like regular conversation, like it's amazing, honestly.
It's real.
Yeah, this is
It's
like
a real moment. This is real.
It's real. It's like this is happening. You're like, no,
But,
like, it is. You're like, it's crazy.
One moment you do realize is at the end of the day, they're people. You get what I'm saying? Like these are actual people. Like no matter what, even though they're famous, they're gods basically in the athletic world. They are real people. They still have the same feelings we do. They still have questions that you think they would know, and it's like, oh my God.
You've noticed Kobe Bryant, he'll just text people just to see how they're doing. For example, Sharif O'Neal would just be texting, how are you doing? Or even the highest paid tennis player, just be like, how's your game going? Whatever. It doesn't even matter what sport you're in. He'll even talk to you about soccer. It's just surreal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Kobe. Yeah, Kobe's, that man's versatile. He's friends with Messi. I believe probably Roger Federer was the tennis player you might be talking about. But yeah, Kobe, he was incredibly versatile. This is like also building those bonds with people, checking in on people is like great community work, and that's really what leaders do. And he does it with ease, really.
It's crazy. R.I.P. man, for real.
Nah, it's insane. I mean, what would you, to end off, I mean, this amazing podcast.
One more, before you end it off, just one more question, You're signed, you're at FC Dallas. What's your goal now? Do you kind of want to follow the same path as Christian Pulisic? Try to be a star in MLS for the men's national team, maybe, and then try to go play overseas, in the big leagues like Barclays Premier League. What's your goal with that?
Yeah, I think I want to have like a certain set of accomplishments for the team to where I think once the team's accomplishments get handled, my accomplishments will then also get handled. I think if I just easily put those first, mine can also get done. I think if I put mine first, I could get sidetracked and I might not end up helping the team, because if the team doesn't succeed, then I will not succeed. So it's like I'm definitely out here, just out here trying to help the team in any way. But it's like my goals after that, I'd love to be Defender of the Year one year, but I'd love it to be the same year that we win an MLS Cup, where it's like, we were that dominant. Like nobody was touching us. It doesn't even matter. And then I definitely want to play. I want to try and play in one of the top 5 like leagues: Germany, Italy, France, Spain, and England. One of those leagues, just to see if I can. It's like, I've been doing it for this long. Well, how good are you? Type of a mentality. It's like, let's see it. And then I just really want to travel with soccer and just have fun with it, and just really go to. I wanted to, before I was getting drafted, before I thought I was going to get drafted, I was going to go try and play in Japan or Thailand.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was going to go there. So yeah, I mean, really going to Texas wasn't the craziest thing, honestly. But But I was trying to just go and just get a lot of experience and play in a league that I would enjoy and just have fun with it. But yeah, I definitely have some set of accomplishments that I want to get done here before I leave. But I mean, we're only a couple months in. We'll see what a couple years says.
Nah, bro, with that mindset that you have already as a rookie and as humble as you're being, I mean, a lot of people in your position act like they're the guy. They feel like they're better than anybody and they'll change up on people. And I feel like you've always stayed true to yourself. If anything, you've found your niche, you found your identity, you stay with your core group and you don't change that, and that's something I admire, because personally, coming up, you were the guy. You were like the guy, you know what I'm saying? You want to be like Nkosi. Nkosi's the one that just went to UCONN. You want to follow that route. So definitely pave the way for us young guys from Deer Park. So my brother, I commend you for that, and I thank you for that, truly. And
I'm at all, man.
It's amazing.
I didn't even know, honestly, until you told me now. I was just kind of doing me. But I'm glad that I could help those that were coming up. Honestly, that's what some younger, older guys are doing for me anyway. So it's a change.
Nkosi ran track for a little bit, went crazy there.
Yeah,
I remember that. I ran track and ran off the track one time. But
Did you?
I ran off the track one time. That video hopefully does not leak, but I ran off the track. But it was definitely a fun time. And to have Nkosi from our town representing, bro, Yes, bro. Keep doing your
Yo,
thing.
we're rooting for you, man. We're rooting for you.
Hey,
Popping that
appreciate
jersey.
it.
I hope we can have you on the show a year from now and you tell us how much you succeeded from there, man. Just keep on doing your
Hey,
thing.
I'm all for it, bro. You got my number. Keep doing y'all's thing. I'm glad that I could do this. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure to
It
have
definitely was a pleasure. It was a good time. It was a good
It
chat.
was.
We was just having some good yucks. So, hey, thank you again, bro. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Hey, guys. Thank you for watching. The final two. Thank you.
Peace.
Yes, sir.